Well, welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. And we are here talking about, can you see that right down there? Yeah, right there, right there. NXT. We are talking about NXT. We're talking about the very best of NXT 2015 Part 2 in 2016. Yeah, they didn't think about that, I guess, I don't know. But pretty good show. It kind of left off where we picked up where we left off last week. So this one opens up kind of talking about Finn Balor returning to Japan. For the Beast in the East special they had. And it also showed Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens, which was, I think it was the main event for the title. No, it was not the main event. But did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely remember this special because I remember talking to Justin about it, and I think we all talked about it in like a review, or it was like before the show actually happened, and we were like, it's gonna be weird with this show being like, I think this was the first like daytime special that we had of the year, of first of two, and we were all like, it's gonna be weird, seeing a WWE special like in the actual evening, like a time slot for us, but I definitely. Oh, actually, this one was like at 5 in the morning or something. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember because this was at 5. It was at 5 in the morning, and Justin was like, "I might stay up and watch it," and you and I were like, "We're not."
We were
I
like,
don't even know.
nah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
like that was obviously. I think that was the best match of the show, and I think what was funny was that you know this show was like built up to be this big thing, and it wasn't even that great. I think we were saying it felt like it was like a glorified like house show, a really well promoted house show. Um,
Yeah.
and then I remember we were talking about how Brock Lesnar wasn't even the main event. He was like the theme of the show.
We were like, wait, what? And then Brock Lesnar faced. Who did he face? It was.
It was like Kofi Kingston or something.
I think so. Yeah, because we were like, wait, what? All this build up and he's facing him. What? But yeah. So then we they showed another Elias Sampson vignette. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
um, I'm not sure. I didn't get to watch it. I was doing the review because I knew about the moments in the show.
Really?
But I think what happened was, I probably would have loved it. I'm sure you didn't like it. I think you probably have way more interesting, exciting things to say than I do because I probably would have liked it if I would have watched it.
And with that in mind, let's move on. I don't know. It's like they're building him up, and then I'm not like getting my hopes up because it's probably going to be something stupid, and they're going to have him like for
Because you hate new characters. That's what it is. Like you just hate them. Like the Perfect 10, the new
But
Elias
anyway,
Sampson. You
next,
know,
next they showed a never before seen match. Apollo Crews versus Ty Dillinger. Uh, I mean, that Apollo Crews, he pretty good. I like him. That other guy in the match, I don't know, but Apollo Crews, he won this match, and you know what? The better man won, and that's really all. Do you have any thoughts on this match? Did you even watch this at all?
I didn't. I don't know why I thought I wasn't thinking about it. Because I was thinking more about the moments than I were like, because I forgot they did this never before seen thing on the NXT stuff because I was thinking back to TNA when they didn't do that. So I was like, I don't really need to watch the show, right? But I'm gonna definitely go back and watch this match, and I will give my thoughts next week because I know I was excited. I would have been excited for this match. I was actually, it was funny. I was playing NBA 2K16 today, and at the end we ended up winning the game, and there's like a set of celebrations you can do, and for some reason my guy was like, and I didn't even pick it. I didn't even pick it. I was like, yeah. I was so hyped, because Perfect 10. He's the best. He's the future, baby. He's the future of WWE,
He is the
and
future of
soon
Jobber.
to be.
He is the future of the Jobber division. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Um, moving on. Um, next, we took a little bit of a look at the lovely ladies of NXT in the NXT women's division. Um, I like how they featured them and they kind of transitioned from one to the other really cool. But DJ didn't watch it, so he didn't see the transitions from one diva to the other, which was kind of cool. And if he goes back and watches this show, he'll see how they transitioned from one NXT female star, I'm not going to say diva, to another. It was really cool. The editing was cool on it. But again, somebody. Any thoughts on the women of NXT?
You were the one that actually told me I didn't have to watch this show, so I didn't. Anyway,
I thought you already watched it.
obviously, they get to obviously they deserve to feature the women, just because of all they've done, not only this year, but just for women's wrestling in general. Obviously, I'm probably going to end up going back and watching this show because, now Casey wants to make me feel bad because, my thoughts weren't entirely correct. My thoughts were about 99.2% correct. But, other than that, there was just like a couple of things here and there that I didn't see in this show. Everything else I've seen.
But the transition.
And I'm a big editing guy, so I would have been hyped. I would have been like Mojo Raleigh or something.
But anyway, next we got a bit of a Dusty Rhodes feature. Then they reviewed the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I like how they're still, keeping his memory alive and, still paying tribute to him, which is cool. Any thoughts on another segment you didn't see?
I, what can I say? For some reason, I was thinking about this, and I was like, did I watch this episode and not think I watched this episode? But it wasn't. It was the part of Breaking Ground where they talked about Dusty Rhodes, and I was like, oh, hey, I love the tag team classic. It felt like it was trying to bring some sort of importance to tag team wrestling, which is kind of felt like it was lost for a little bit. And obviously doing it for Dusty. I think one of the kind of most touching things of this classic was when Cody and Dustin presented the winner, to the winners, and Cody cut his promo and whatnot, because this is the first time we had seen him since Dusty had died. So and they seem to be, obviously, they probably weren't as good of spirits as they were showing, but they seem to be like they were in somewhat of they weren't like just completely just derailed and down, which could happen if you lose somebody that important in your life.
Yeah. So next they did they kind of featured all the NXT superstars that have since gone up to the main roster. They featured Neville, The Ascension, Tyler Breeze, Becky Lynch, Kevin Owens, Sasha Banks, the Lucha Booties, and Charlotte, which I thought was kind of cool, just kind of, showing that this is basically the end result of NXT is to make it up to the main roster, and these superstars have done it. So it shows, that it can be done. And yes, I said the lucha booties. I wrote that in as my notes. So, uh, any thoughts on this?
Obviously, we've seen these guys, come up, to the main roster. We were excited about it, but I feel like how many of these guys have we really seen do anything yet? Neville kind of made a splash when he first came in, but like, right now he's just kind of just floating in the wind. It feels like. Obviously the Lucha Dragons are doing, they're at least getting the Lucha Booties, the Lucha Booties are obviously, they're getting a chance, in the tag team division, but they're not, they haven't really been prevalently featured. The Ascension, I have no freaking idea what they're doing with them. I wish they would do something with them because I like them a lot. Even, I'm fine with the whole stable of Stardust, but do something with it. Like, you can't just have it like appear here and then nothing happen with it. But maybe they'll appear here randomly and then develop into something like the New Day did, because the New Day appeared randomly and then were gone for like forever and then developed into something. It took a little bit, but they developed into something. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how much these guys will grow with a lot more injuries on the main roster. I mean, either they're gonna have to use the younger guys they already called up, or call some other people up. Cena's out now too with a shoulder injury. He won't even be able to wrestle at WrestleMania. So I mean, regardless of what you think of the guy, he's still the biggest star. So, I don't know. They need to call up somebody though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't doing a celebration dance. Um, moving on. Uh, we get a review of the 8-man tag match at Takeover Brooklyn. It was Team 2 Hyped, the Hype Bros and Enzo and Cass, versus Jordan and Gable. Okay, good team. And Dash and Dawson. Ugh. I remember this match. This was a pretty good match. We were still kind of, and I think we're still not really that impressed with Dash and Dawson, but this was when Jordan and Gable were kind of starting to break out a little bit, not in a rash, breaking out like his stars, and putting the Hype Bros and Cass and Enzo is just freaking ADD magic, ADHD wonderment. I don't even know. It was crazy, and I almost couldn't handle it, but it was awesome. Any thoughts on this amazing 8-man tag team match?
Yeah, I definitely remember this, but one moment they missed, I think, we learned that Jason Jordan likes to be called JJ. That was one of the most important moments of the year, I think. No, I remember this match. I know I loved this match. Obviously with these guys in it, obviously you're gonna like it. Where was this match? For some reason, I think it was after the London show, wasn't it?
It was,
Or no, Brooklyn.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, because Jordan and Gable were on the London on the. Okay, yeah. Some of these takeovers get mixed up a little bit, but definitely this was a good match. I want to see kind of the future of the tag team division for NXT, and probably more so the main roster. I don't know what they're gonna do with the main roster tag team division, but we need something, and a storyline would be nice. Just a storyline, just make us feel like it's a little bit important. Because if we had a storyline, we're like, oh, okay, well, wait, oh, all right. So I'm just saying.
I do agree. So next, the final sort of segment of this episode, the final greatest moments of NXT 2015 of all time. We reviewed basically Finn Balor and Samoa Joe's feud. and then up to their match at Takeover London, which again was one of the best matches we've had. Um, any thoughts on the feud or the match?
Yeah, obviously, I love this feud. I can, part of me wants it to continue, but part of me wants to see Joe or Balor or both on the main roster. Just because they've had that experience and whatnot. Previously, I feel like they've had Joe definitely doesn't need a title in NXT, just with his experiences. Um, I love the heel turn. With Joe, you got to see that intensity that I think we haven't really seen a great heel Samoa Joe in a while. I don't even know if we've seen a great heel Samoa Joe yet. Because Samoa Joe for a long time felt like a tweener to me. I think he was but I think he was at his greatest heel wise when he was in the feud with Kurt Angle. But it kind of wasn't even like a heel thing. It was kind of a respect thing. So there was really no face or no heel in that either. Um, I don't know. I don't know because the most vivid memory of heel Samoa Joe is Nation of Violence Samoa Joe, and I didn't want to remember that. You know, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen not only with this feud but with these two guys because obviously they're Finn Balor's been in NXT for a while, or at least a year, and Samoa Joe he's been in NXT for a little bit but he has that experience, and Kevin Owens didn't stay with that experience for that long, so I'm kind of wondering if they're gonna bring him up, especially with just guys going down left and right, or for the main roster, you would think they got to find somebody to do something on the main roster, because obviously they're not going to use the talent they already have.
Yeah. And as far as Joe, I feel like we haven't seen this intense side of Joe since. I mean, even going, you probably have to go back to his debut in TNA. If anyone remembers that far back, I remember he used to, bring out that white towel and he would somehow make his opponent bleed and kind of, get the blood on the towel, and that was just so kind of intense and vicious. I always like that. So I feel like we haven't seen that intense side of him since then, and it's cool to see that kind of heel side of him because I feel like he is more of a heel naturally than a face. But that was our best of NXT 2015 Part 2. We're excited for what 2016 is going to bring. Coming up, we'll have the next episode, I think, is Thursday. I can't even remember what days NXT's on anymore because all these wrestling shows keep changing their days. They'll go from Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday, Sunday. They'll make up a day and they'll change it to that. I don't even know, but we'll have it out. I'm excited to see what's going on. Who's going to be the next to go up to the main roster? Who's going to be the next to debut in NXT, especially with Breaking Ground. We've seen some new talent, trying to get to the NXT roster. It's going to be exciting to see, who makes it first. Any other thoughts before we close out?
Just real quick, because I don't know if you had seen this article, but I had read an article of it's they're obviously not going to do it, but this guy suggested that they do something with the pay-per-view schedule, because I know we had talked about and it involved NXT. That's why I was mentioning it here. He was talking about how we I know you and I talked about we wanted pay per views like every other month. We think it would allow stories to develop a little bit more. And he said, if we have like WWE pay per view and then an NXT takeover the next month and then a WWE pay per view. And I think there were only two that ran like side by side. for main roster pay-per-views since NXT doesn't do but what 5 takeovers a year. But any thoughts on that? Would that be? I don't know how I feel about it because I was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of still one of the people who gets excited for every pay per view. So to take them away from me, I'd be like, no, But I
I
think
feel
putting
like
takeovers in place of them wouldn't be a terrible idea.
I feel like in a way we wouldn't be losing pay-per-views, but it would help kind of build up main roster pay-per-views, and then NXT storylines, and then NXT storylines. And NXT could add a sixth special event. Then you would be able to do one every other month. I mean, I would be for at least trying it. See how it works. I mean, WWE could certainly afford to, try it for a year, see how the fans like it. Like you said, they never do that. But I mean, they definitely need to do something with their pay-per-views where, we care more about all of them, because at this point, pay-per-views like Fastlane and Hell in a Cell and TLC, they're kind of hit or miss. There's a couple good matches that you get excited for, but the pay-per-views in general, you don't get really excited for, except for like, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania. You obviously Royal Rumble, you obviously get excited for all those, but
One
those kind of
one thing, just real quick, I think that's weird. And we were talking about the storylines and whatnot, is I think it's weird that they have more storylines for feuds, which storylines um, kind of carry, feuds that don't involve a title anyway. But there's more storylines with those feuds that don't involve a title than there are with those that involve a title, which I think it's kind of weird. Like we see storylines all the time. Like you saw the Bray Wyatt John Cena one from WrestleMania 30, and that didn't even involve, a title. Whereas, I, it feels like the Intercontinental Championship hasn't had a storyline in forever. You know, I just think that's weird.
Yeah, and they used to have like tournaments for, the number one contendership or something, so you could build up a storyline to say, okay, you screwed me over for the number one contendership, I should get the title, blah blah blah, I should get a chance. Some sort of, I mean, obviously we care about title matches anyway because we want these titles to mean something again. But adding a storyline would help a lot more, to get into it.
That guy had also added a King of the Ring, like not necessarily a pay per view, but like like I guess some no, I can't remember. I think it would be better if it was a pay per view though. I mean, I think there should just be like a pay per view like that's just King of the Ring. Um, it makes it feel more important because you got a whole show that revolves around it. As I don't know how good the NWO sold out shows were, but you had a whole show surrounding that faction, so you felt like the faction was more important. You
I
know,
mean, like talking about King of the Ring in general, we've had a couple pay-per-views in the past year or two where, they barely had any title shot at any title matches on the card, if there were any. So why not have, if they're going to do that anyway, why not have a King of the Ring where you don't necessarily have to have any title matches? You could just have the tournament. I mean, you can throw one or two other matches in there too, because even the King of the Ring pay-per-views back in the day still had, other matches, sprinkled in between. But, it was basically just about the King of the Ring championship, whatever. It wasn't about the WWE title. It wasn't about the Intercontinental title. It was about the King of the Ring. And I think, bringing that back would be cool because they've done it, on Raw and SmackDown randomly, the past couple of years, but it's not enough that we care. Like, I don't care that Barrett is King of the Ring because it wasn't a pay-per-view. It wasn't something that I got excited for. But did you have anything to add?
No, no, I agree. And they haven't really followed up on it. Like the 2015 King of the Ring, way better. But I mean, they don't really you know, they haven't really followed up on it. He hasn't really gotten a title shot because of it. He hasn't. There's like nothing to draw me towards saying, wow, King Barrett, he's
And
the
I mean,
future, man.
King of the Ring, like, skyrocketed some guys who won it. Like, when after Austin won King of the Ring, that's when he really started to that kind of meteoric rise. And then
Yeah, when I wasn't I don't exactly remember this moment, but I have watched some stuff on the network where I didn't it like propel Owen too, like Owen Hart.
yeah, it propelled Owen Hart. And I think the last actual King of the Ring winner that it was like the pay-per-view was Edge, and then he, went off to be a huge star, world heavyweight
Yeah,
champ.
I think it did it like and it could be another thing too where it helps with your character too like even like because Booker T, who was the same guy like throughout his entire career, except when he won the King of the Ring and became King Booker. you know, you know,
Oh,
it
that's almost
it
as
just
bad as Hardy's revenge.
it but still it gave him somewhere to go with a heel turn, which was kind of nice to see because Booker T had been the same guy for the majority of his career, especially in WWE. He had been the same guy for the majority of his career, and then kiss my boot and whatever the heck else he said. It just it helped him too, become, and he even became, world champion with it. I can't remember if it was a pay per view when he won it because it was a little while ago. I can't remember exactly, but still, it was important. It helped, it did something for him. It wasn't like Barrett where we've seen him just be thrown around into random stuff like he's just some random guy on the roster anyway.
Yeah, kind of like when Sheamus won it, and then nobody cared.
Wait, Sheamus won it? Wait, what?
Yeah, yeah, he did. Sheamus was King of the Ring. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, on to other things that we don't remember. This has been, like we said, NXT, Best of NXT 2015 Part 2. And we will see you. Can you do it? Can you do it? Come on. Come on. You want to say it. Say it. Say it. Say it. On the flippity dippity. Oh, yeah.